Street Sidewalk and Lighting is meeting this evening, March 2nd, 2026 in council chambers at 6:01. All members of my committee are present, including myself as chair, Monty Harris as co-chair, and Emily Beck, as well as other council members, and guest note is on my sheet. We have no request for legislation at this time, and no pending legislation. Mr. Street, are the lights working on Second Street yet by any chance?
All but one strand was the report I got today. So they replaced the strands that weren't working, and then something happened. So I don't know if it was a connector, but they seem to think that they had the part in stock. So as soon as Haywood can get back down here, they should all be functional.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
So all the strands had to be replaced?
No, so there was, I don't know, there was a handful of bad ones. I don't know if it's 5, 6, 10, but so they had to be ordered and shipped here. They installed them, so again, the report was all but one strand was working, and it sounds like it was one that was working, and now all of a sudden it's not working, so that's why I'm assuming it's a connection.
Thank you.
Any other Mr. Harris?
It's actually gonna be the first strand, and when you're going south on Second Street, after you cross over at Lake, Page,
Okay.
just to give you a better.
Okay. Like I said, the report was one strand was not
Yeah.
working. They didn't give me a location, so.
Ms. Beck?
One more question. Do we have any sort of ribbon cutting or sort of, yay, they're on thing kind of plan? When did they get turned on?
So that is in the works, and they should be on as soon as everything is functional, they will be put into operation.
Any other miscellaneous in my committee or anyone else? Yes.
This is just a compliment. My son lives in North Akron, and he said that North Akron and Cuyahoga Falls have the worst streets in the area, and that Barbertons are the best.
Well, thank you.
Any comments from the gallery? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion?
In a second,
I'll second.
and with that, we are adjourned at 6:04.
Thank you, Mrs. Hager. Environmental Health and Social Services, Julie Miller.
It is 6:04 p.m. All my committee members are present. All other council are present. We have no business at this time, so I wonder. This is a question from someone else. And with that, I pass.
Thank you, Mrs. Miller.
Nope, she needs
Motion to adjourn.
call
Oh.
miscellaneous and then motion to adjourn.
Okay. Is there any miscellaneous topics that I haven't gotten? Okay, do I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second
Okay, we are done. That I pass. And we are done at 6:05.
Thank you, Mrs. Miller. Planning, Annexation, Codes.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I'd like to call the Planning Annexation and Codes meeting to order. It is March 2nd, 2026 at 6:06 p.m. All members of my committee are present. Myself as chair, Julie Miller as co-chair, and Crystal as member, and all other members noted on my sheet. Tonight we have no request for legislation, we don't have any appointments, and we don't have any pending legislation. I'd like to open it up for miscellaneous discussion from my committee first. Anybody have anything miscellaneous?
I have been given the health reports by our lovely clerk. And the important thing in there is that Canada can no longer be considered measles-free, and the United States is coming up next. And the measles reports. So, bottom line is, they hope you get vaccinated, the children at least. And that's all I have.
Anybody else from the committee? From the body? From the gallery? If nothing else, may I have a motion to adjourn?
I give you a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. And a second?
Second?
We are adjourned at 6:07.
Thank you, Mrs. Beck. Tonight we have a special city utilities meeting. Mr. Stoll.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to call the City Utilities Committee to order. It is March 2nd at 6:07 p.m. All members of my committee are present, myself as chair, Ms. Miller, and Ms. Hager as co-chair. Other members of council and guests as noted on my sheet. We have one request for legislation tonight, and this is a letter from Todd Shreve, Service Director, requesting legislation to allow the City of Barberton to proceed with the process of becoming a member community of the Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, or NOPEC, adopting their electric plan of operation and entering into an agreement with them as our electrical aggregator. Emergency wording is requested. Do I have any remarks or discussion from the committee on this? Any comments from the body? Anyone in the gallery? All right. So I would like to, hearing no remarks on it, I would like to invoke Council Rule 702 to suspend Council Rule 302, the 10-day rule. Do I have a motion to suspend?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do I have a motion to call for this legislation?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that is all we have. So, do we have any remarks or miscellaneous discussion?
Chris, when we call a special meeting, it can only be for the topic we call it for. There's no discussions. You can go ahead and adjourn.
Yep, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
A second, thank you. We are adjourned at 6:10 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Stoll. We have a special rules, marketing, development, and information technology meeting. Ms. Gerhardt.
Thank you, President Griffin. This time, I'd like to bring the Special Rules Marketing Development and Information Technologies meeting to order. It is Monday, March 2nd, 2026, and it is 6:10 p.m. We are in council chambers. All members of my committee are present, including myself as chair, co-chair Mrs. Beck, and Jennifer Hager. All council members are present, and others as noted on my sheet. Our only topic of discussion this evening is a letter from Councilman Monty Harris, 6th Ward, requesting legislation censuring Councilman Brian Porman, 2nd Ward. Please see attached request. This was brought up with Rule 202, ordering council, addressing council, Rule 203, ordering council, language and attire, conducting themselves in a professional manner, and Rule 204, recognition to speak at committee of the whole. I will give a quick timeline and then we'll have this open to my committee and then the council for discussion. After the meeting in question, I contacted Mr. Foreman to discuss concerns raised about interruptions during the resident participation and asked whether he would consider offering a public apology. I also called Mrs. Miller. Both members indicated that they'd be willing to do so. At the following Rules Committee meeting, which was last Monday, I reminded council of the importance of following our rules and procedures and treating residents and one another with respect. During that meeting, one council member, Mrs. Miller, offered a public apology. After the meeting, Mr. Foreman informed me that he had been advised not to make a public statement. After that, Council Mr. Harris introduced the resolution now before the committee this evening. With that context, I'll open the discussion up to the committee.
Quick question. So is this, we are voting to censure, this isn't gonna go to the legislative? Oh, we've never done this before,
Yeah,
so
we haven't.
looking at this paper, it doesn't look as though that's what's happening here.
I believe it's just a motion to censure. Does anybody else on council have any questions or comments? Mrs. Miller?
I was totally unaware of the rule that I was not to speak during people making comments to us. Sorry, I'm new.
Mr. Harris?
Thank you, Chair. I just want to remind everybody that Mr. Foreman was given the opportunity to apologize and did. He's been here since December. We are all, required to read the rules, know the rules. My whole thing is he was given the opportunity to apologize and did. And now we're here. Now, from what I understand, this is not a, this just goes on the record that, it's not saying, Mr. Foreman, you're kicked out or anything like that. It's just saying it's on record that he violated the rules and we continue on with business. I mean, we have other things that we need to deal with here. But we need to also be accountable. So, thank you, Chair.
You're welcome. That is correct. This is a formal public reprimand adopted by council vote expressing disapproval of a member's conduct. It is not removal from office. It does not take away voting power. It is essentially council placing an official statement in the record saying behavior violated accepted standards. Mr. Foreman?
What happened was, or I should say, we all know what happened. My reasoning was, I needed clarification because we were talking about employees' after-hours behavior. And I did get clarification from Lisa Miller afterwards, the next day, that anything can be said about any employee after hours. My rationale at the time I was thinking was, we had a speaker several years ago talk about an employee who used a street cleaning machine. And I believe it was Jamie Eisman, HR, told the person not to use their name publicly. Where I come from, in every employer that I've had, even though it may be public record, you do not talk about it publicly. You bring it to the department heads and you go over it. It's a very fireable offense with right or wrong. So that's where I was really concerned, was more like liability issues than anything else. We've never had a situation where somebody was talking about an employee's actions after work. And so my only concern was I was trying to get clarification. I was trying to raise my hand, but I don't think Shorter saw me. I did interrupt Ms. Tiffany Mead, but I was trying to get clarification at the time. It happened so fast. Mr. Moore was addressed, and then Monty Harris, so I was just trying to get clarification, and I don't think he saw my hand, and so, but Lisa Miller, the law director, did say, raise your hand first if there are issues, or if the person's talking about that something that's a lie, you can address it, but you have to raise your hand. And I told her, stop, and then I was trying to get direction, which I do realize that was wrong, because I know you don't address them, but I knew at the time I was stepping in a big mud puddle. But like I say, where I come from, this is very serious to be talking publicly. And so I was just trying to get direction on it. And to be honest, I had a letter already written out to do a public apology, but I felt afterwards when I told you I was going to do it, and I apologize for that. But I felt since I was told to do it, or else I'd be censured. And so I felt like I was being threatened to give an apology. And I felt that wouldn't be sincere at the time, and that's why I backed away from the apology publicly. But I did, in the meantime, call Ms. Tiffany Mead to at least apologize and to explain my behavior. Thank you.
Does anybody else have anything they'd like to say or ask?
So we are making this as decision as the not lead hire. We're not passing this on to lead hire.
Sure. Do you know that?
What's that then?
We just vote on this within my committee, not the entire council.
No, you're voting on it for committee like you do any other piece of legislation. It's gotta come out of committee first.
It will be on
Yes.
Okay.
the legislature, okay,
Yes.
just wanted to make sure. I do think that, after the outburst, I do think that, Ms. Mead was able to get her point across afterwards. I think there was a bit of above there, and, it was explained that you're not supposed to do that. We all buttoned it up, and I think that she was able to at least get her point across that day. So, that's just my opinion. Everybody else might have different opinions.
Mrs. Hager, do you have any thoughts or opinions being in this committee?
I just think, number one, whether you're on council, whether you know the exact rules or not, there's a certain level of decorum on how you conduct yourself. And shouting out is, no matter what the circumstances, is definitely not one of them. Ms. Mead is speaking about the subject she spoke about. If she said something inappropriate, it falls on her, not us. So it's not up to any one of us to monitor her what she says. And, you know, and we have to abide by our rules. And, you know, and you just, I mean, I'm sorry, it's kind of, in my opinion, common sense. You're sitting on council, you know, there's just a level of decorum that you don't cross. And yelling out for whatever reason, whether previous ways you've handled things or previous ways you've been told about certain situations, it's just not appropriate. You know, if you feel something is wrong, you raise your hand, you wait until you're called on, and then, you know, if you gotta raise it higher, you know, you raise it higher and you keep your mouth shut until you're called on. And that's just the way it should be. And, you know, I don't take it as a threat. I think that's a very strong word, that either apologize or you could be censured.
Especially since that's not the conversation that was had, so I'm disappointed to
Yeah.
hear that.
You know, I feel like just, you know, I mean, Ms. Miller, you know, she apologized. And you could tell it was a very sincere apology. You know, and I think the same could have been said for Mr. Foreman if he had apologized. We would have taken it as sincere. Not that he was, you know, doing it simply because he was trying to avoid being censored. You know, and I'm sorry, there's consequences to your actions. And, you know, from the time we're little, we're told that, and we are all adults now. And yeah, sometimes it stinks, but you have to accept the consequences that go with your actions.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Seeing no more,
Real
I'm sorry.
Just real quick, I'm glad that I had enough experience to call for a point of order, first off, that evening, to get everything in order. And secondly, if you were threatened, maybe who you spoke to might have known this was coming to try to prevent this from happening, and a simple apology could have prevented that, as we found out last week. I'm not for or against this at the moment. I just think that you had another opportunity to apologize today to your own behest and did not, which is disappointing, I think, as a council collectively.
Mr. Stoll?
I would just like to ask Mr. Corman if he thinks it's appropriate that we hold each other accountable to the standards that we set out for ourselves, okay? Because let's be clear, these are our rules. We act as a body, and if any one of us is out of order, that reflects poorly on all of us. And so my question would be, you know, do you respect the rules that we have, and the rest of us here, do you think it is appropriate that the rest of this body deserves an apology?
Well, I mean, I wasn't trying to disrespect anybody at the time. Like I said, I was trying to raise my hand, you know, it happened so fast. I did know you weren't supposed to talk, but like I said, in retrospect, you know, after talking to Lisa Miller, that yes, they can talk about anything, which I did not know. That I absolutely did not know. That you could, about any of the employees. And so, my fault was trying to protect the employee, right or wrong. You know, in hindsight, you know, yes, she told me more how to, I wasn't trying to make it into a circus. I do apologize for that. Unfortunately, we learn the hard way, and I do understand that. But I felt that the question needed to be answered, but I understand I should have raised my hand first. I do realize that afterwards.
Mr. Stoll?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's trying to litigate what happened.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, yes, I
And-
agree. I
and-
should have raised my hand, you know,
Right.
just trying to learn the process.
So I think everybody here would say people make mistakes, and it's appropriate if I make a mistake, if somebody approaches me and points out my mistake, I'm willing to admit fault and say, I didn't know, and I'm learning, whatever it is, and I can apologize for my mistakes. And so,
That's a good example, Mr. Soul. I mean, and that's where I feel like we've had conversations for several weeks now that that's been lacking within our city and administration, and it snowballs into having to come to council and having to spend our time talking about our house and how it's not in order right now. So I can't control the administration or the city, but like Mr. Soul said, this is reflective upon our council. And we're gonna go ahead with this. For Rule 202C, motion to invoke censure, can I have a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
In a second?
Here, what are you saying? This is actually E. It's actually E, not C.
E, thank you.
All right, and then I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. For Rule 203B2, motion to invoke censure,
I'll make that motion.
thank you.
I'll second.
In a second. All those in favor? Aye. For Rule 204, motion to revoke censure. Can I have a motion for that?
Motion?
Thank you. In a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Make that motion?
I'll second.
Thank you. We are adjourned at 6:28 PM.
Thank you, Ms. Gerhart. Finance and Personnel, Mr. Foreman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to call the Finance and Personnel meeting to order. It is Monday, March 2nd, and it's 6:28. A member present, myself as chairman, Chris Stahl as co-chair, Monty Harris, and Shorter Griffin, all members of council present, and others also noted. For discussion, we have request for legislation, a letter from William Judge requesting legislation to allow up to 10% of the business incentive fund, a fund balance to be used each year for economic development purposes, include but not limited to projects like wayfinding and programs like Main Street, emergency wording, and one reading requested. Mr. Harris?
Thank you, Chair. If I recall correctly, I think it was probably a week or two after this was requested that I asked I asked the mayor if we could sit down and discuss the economic development purposes, be more precise in what we were gonna do with it, and I have not yet received an email back. And that was on January 21st that I sent the email. So I've not heard anything else about this. And I know we're getting close to our 60-day limit here. So, I would make a motion and we withdraw it until
I
we
mean,
get
can
more
we
specifics.
readdress it then? I mean,
Yeah, it could be
when the mayor's here,
down the
because,
road.
you know, my question would be, is this really a part of budget, or does this need to be changed here?
Right,
Because that's where I'm sort of,
totally understand it.
any questions?
So I'm guessing there was legislation to allow for this fund to begin with, so we would have to pass legislation to modify the list, get
Okay, that
legislation
makes sense.
regardless of what we do with budget, so.
Okay, so if we hold it over, then we can
Chair, we'll be past the, I would imagine we'll be past the 60-day limit. So I would ask that a motion to withdraw this legislation at this time until we get the more particulars, and then the legislation can be reintroduced or. the
So would
different
would that be
legislation.
the next step, that you have to reintroduce it then?
Correct.
So it's possible he could reintroduce
Yes.
this?
Yes, sir.
When he's out, okay.
Just write me
Any other-
another letter and we'll start it over.
Okay.
Correct, like the
Okay.
council clerk said.
So you just make a motion to, ask for a motion to withdraw it at this
Okay.
time.
All right. I'll make or ask for a motion to withdraw.
I'll make the motion to withdraw.
Second?
Second. Then, do we put this to a vote then? Okay.
Just all in favor for your
Yeah,
committee.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have, is there any other discussion, miscellaneous discussion from council? Gallery? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
We adjourn at 6:32. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Foreman. We will take a 10-minute break here before we go into our meeting.
I will start over.
I'm sure Jess would like that.
I didn't want to interrupt, but
Okay, that's fine. Resolution number 4-2026, commendation, former council president Justin Greer. A resolution of the council of the city of Barberton to honor and give public recognition to Justin Greer for his dedication to serving on Barberton City Council and to the Barberton community. Off and on, Dusty. Whereas Justin Greer in 2002 met the love of his life, worth repeating, Jessica, when they were both students at Barberton High School. And whereas Justin left school in 2004 during his senior year, started his construction company. And in 2007, Justin completed school, married Jessica, and joined the U.S. Army as an infantryman. And whereas Justin was deployed to Iraq in 2007 during Operation Iraqi Freedom, returning stateside in 2008. And whereas in mid-2008, the Greer family grew with the birth of Justin Greer Jr. And whereas in 2009, Justin graduated from the United States Army Sniper School at Fort Benning, Georgia, received his Bravo 4 qualifier, and was deployed to Iraq for his second tour of duty, where he ran a small team and performed counterterrorism duties until 2011. And whereas Justin returned home to Jessica and Barberton for good, where they welcomed their second child, a daughter, Phoebe, and settled into work life of training military and local law enforcement in close quarter tactics and long-range marksmanship. And whereas Justin, once home, dedicated his time and commitment to serving the citizens of Barberton on the Barberton City Council as ward-run representative from 2020 to 2021, and as City Council President from 2022 through 2025. Whereas Mr. Greer initiated the video streaming of council meetings, using his expertise to assure citizens who cannot physically attend meetings can still participate in the legislative process. And whereas during his time on City Council, Mr. Greer served on every committee. And whereas the plan now is to travel the United States with his family and plan for retirement. And whereas Mr. Greer, a proud U.S. Army veteran, never fails to remind us to always remember the 22. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the Council of the City of Barberton, State of Ohio, Section 1, that the Council of the City of Barberton hereby honors and gives public recognition to former Council President Justin Greer for his dedication to serving on Barberton City Council. Section 2, that it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the passage of this ordinance were taken in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and of any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were meetings open to the public in compliance with the law. Section 3, that this resolution shall be in force and effect from and after the earliest period allowed by law, passed and signed January 12th, 2026.
thank you.
No,
We can wait, we're gonna do all three at a
we're gonna
time.
do all three on that.
We were trying to get him on right.
But you can say something.
Yeah, you can say something.
Yeah, it's your turn.
I guess I get to speak. So,
Yeah.
this is new. First off, thank you guys, council, mayor's not here, but the administration, Monty, Rebecca, Mrs. Hager, and everybody else is new, so I'll thank you guys for just stepping up. That's important from when we were leaving. Sorry, I can't forget you. So anyways, Mrs. Beck, but a lot of everything that I've done, I owe a lot to Mr. Heidick sitting back there. 2017, 2018, one of my best friends, we were down in the basement of First Presbyterian church doing a spaghetti dinner. He said, "Hey man, I got this little friend, and he needs signatures to run for city council." So that is where I met Mr. Heidick. And from there, the rest is history. He's been a mentor to me since the beginning. And eventually that's why I ran for Ward 1 after I sat here for 2 years. From that, after Ward 1, I learned a lot. I think I would be missing out, or if I didn't mention the other council members that were here when we first came. So Nina Angeloff, Carol Fry, Joyce, Carla DeBevick, I mean Sean was part of it, Sean Tabor, that whole thing kind of built up into deciding to go for president. That's where I was at until I left. So I just want to thank everybody. Lori, you've been one of my best friends here. Make sure that everything, I'm just up here, even though we got to fix this because now I see how ridiculous I look when I see this.
They say you sat on your knees though.
Sometimes.
I can't do that.
We got to fix that because, yeah. Anyway, but while I'm up there talking and we're doing everything, my job was just to try to make sure that everybody followed the rules as much as possible, make sure the council had everything that they needed. But Lori really is truly the heart and the lifeblood of council, how it works here. Right? You learn a lot, as you all will see or have seen. It's humbling to be on city council, no matter how good you think you are. It'll knock you down. You just learn from it and move forward. And I obviously have to thank my family for, they really didn't have a choice. We didn't have a vacation for the last like 8 years that lasted any longer than 4 days because we couldn't get out of here because of council. So that's why it's important for me to take a step back now and focus on home. So anyways, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Good. Secondly, we have Taylor Thompson, former councilwoman at large.
Where do I stand? Where do I put my hands?
Please read the resolution.
Resolution number 3-2026, title, Commendation, former councilperson Taylor Thompson. A resolution of the Council of the City of Barberton to honor and give public recognition to Taylor Thompson for her dedication to serving on Barberton City Council and to the Barberton community. Whereas Taylor Thompson has dedicated her time and commitment to serving on the Barberton City Council as the Finance Chair, and whereas in addition to serving as the Chair for Finance Committee, Mrs. Thompson also co-chair of the Planning Committee and served on Health and Social Services Committee. Whereas Taylor Thompson was elected by the City of Barberton residents serving as an at-large position from 2022 to 2025, and whereas Taylor is happily married to Mike Thompson and has 6 children between the two of them: Alyssa, Andrew, Madeline, Michael, Leah, and Brianna. And whereas Alyssa is raising a family of her own here in Barberton, Andrew is serving our country in the U.S. Army, Madeline is a Sparkles cheerleader and enjoys volunteering at church, Michael loves to play baseball and is a member of the Good News Club at school, Leah is a member of the K-Kids from Kiwanis and drum club at school and also enjoys playing softball, and Brianna is in kindergarten and loves volunteering with her mom, dad, and siblings. And whereas Taylor is an employee at the Barberton Primary School working in a special needs classroom. And whereas Taylor is a member of Grace Church in Norton and prior to being elected to City Council, served on the city's Planning Commission. And whereas she is an active volunteer in the community with the Labor Day barbecue and music festivals, Mum Festival, Main Street Barberton events, etc., and an assistant coach for Barberton Youth Softball. And whereas she is a committee member of Magic's Ready to Learn, providing school supplies for all Barberton students entering kindergarten through 5th grade, and volunteers at Wednesday's Child nonprofit supporting members of the community who are developmentally disabled as well as homeless and at-risk youth. And whereas Taylor's family founded the Sled Share Bin at Waltz Park, and whereas she is a supporter and fan of the Barberton Sparkles. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the City of Barberton, State of Ohio, Section 1, that the Council of the City of Barberton hereby honors and gives public recognition to former councilperson Taylor Thompson for her dedication to serving on Barberton City Council. Section 2, that it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the passage of this ordinance were taken in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and of any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were meetings open to the public in compliance with the law. Section 3, that this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after the earliest period allowed by law. Passed and signed January 12th, 2026.
Last but not least.
Wait, let her talk first.
No, I'm okay.
You wanna talk?
Go ahead.
Your turn.
No, your turn.
Okay. I just wanted to say thank you guys. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for these two guys who will be standing up here with me. Started out as a reporter for the Barberton Herald because I wanted to get more involved in the community and learn more about it. And I was sitting right there for a couple years before this one convinced me to go ahead and run. So I appreciate it. So thank you.
Now, last but not least, Mr. Bebe, Council at Large and my neighbor.
Very
funny. Congratulations.
Resolution number 2-2026, title, Commendation, former councilperson Thomas Bebe Heidick. A resolution of the Council of the City of Barberton to honor and give public recognition to Thomas Bebe Heidick for his dedication to serving on the Barberton City Council and to the Barberton community. Whereas Thomas Bebe Heidick has dedicated his time and commitment to serving on the Barberton City Council as planning chair, whereas in addition to serving as the chair for the planning committee, Mr. Heidick was co-chair of the finance committee and served on the rules committee. Whereas he was one of the main architects of the Dora and Community Entertainment District, and whereas Thomas Bebe Heidick was elected to the City of Barberton by the City of Barberton residents to his current at-large position, and whereas Thomas Bebe Heidick is the sharpest and brightest dressed councilman who loves Barberton and all its citizens with all the purple power he can muster. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the Council of the City of Barberton, State of Ohio, Section 1, that the Council of the City of Barberton hereby honors and gives public recognition to former councilperson Thomas Bebe Heidick for his dedication to serving on Barberton City Council. Section 2, that it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the passage of this ordinance were taken in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and of any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were meetings open to the public in compliance with the law. Section 3, that this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after the earliest period allowed by law. Signed and passed January 12th, 2026. Speech.
Thank you all. I appreciate it. It's truly was an honor to serve on this council. There's 4 members now and a president that have been here for some time that you know it's not a glamorous job. To the 4 new people, you'll learn quickly it's not a glamorous job. Sometimes you have to make it glamorous, but that's a different story. These 2 to my left here were fantastic. We've had many meetings together. I really couldn't have done this as strong and as hard as I did without them. And the last ones I want to thank. Growing up, I was taught compassion and logic by my parents right here. So thank you.
announcement. I want to thank you guys for your service, and it was a pleasure to work with you. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in some other capacity in Barberton, probably. Okay? So you guys want to stand out there and come around and shake your hand.
It's all
Okay?
Now they can go.
Council, come around and shake your hand.
Is this like
Thank you for stepping in. Just take it.
You got it.
Grandfather. Look out for your hand. Oh, yeah. Thank you, sir, for stepping in.
Not so much.
I'll control that.
This is my butt.
Yeah.
Well, no, we missed it.
I expect you to bring me back something that doesn't cost anything. And everywhere you go.
Oh.
Dirt.
You knew that 22 was mine.
Yes,
I had to do
And you know
mine.
what? Every time I do mine, well, I've done mine.
As soon as they do this.
Does any more council people want to say anything? Emily?
Emily wanted to talk.
Emily wants to speak.
I wanted to thank you. I wanted to start with Justin. Justin, I think you have taught me the most out of anybody sitting here. I would call you for something or, what is this? What is that? What do you think about this? And then we would end up talking for hours on the phone. And I don't know if that happens to you a lot. We would end up talking about so many different things, just about our personal lives or what we thought about things. So I really enjoyed getting to know you, and I was sad to see you go. So I want to thank you for all of the time that you have given to me. I know it was a lot, but I got a lot out of it, and I'm very grateful for it. So thank you. Thank you for being our leader for a short time here, with to me for 2 years. Bebe, we sat next to each other and probably squabbled with you the most, but I enjoyed every moment of it, and I think you did too. We always would giggle about it later. So, and you were helpful to me as well, and you didn't have to be. So I really appreciate the time I spent with you as well. And Taylor, I did not expect to have to say goodbye to you. You were gone in the moment. I didn't get to say anything to you last night. The other two I did, but I didn't get to say anything to you. I didn't expect to say goodbye to you, but I do know that I feel that you have been freed up to do even more, and I know that you will. And you will be successful because you are very kind and thoughtful. So I'm sad for you to go, but I'm happy for you to be free and do more. Thank you.
Does anyone else have anything to say? And I just want to say myself that I learned from everybody. I learned from Mr. Harris, Ms. Thompson, and especially Justin. We talked a lot. We have things in common, military, hunting, and stuff like that we talked about. But it was a pleasure to work with all of you. And I hope that this is a lesson for you, something that you like to do, because it's hard to get people to volunteer for council, committees. To be in the public eye is not for the faint of heart. And it's something you want to do. You have to want to do it. And I just want to say thank you again. Yes, Mrs. Ms. Gerhart.
Thank you, Mr.
Mhm.
President. I just wanna say thank you also. I miss all three of you. I enjoyed getting to serve with you. You guys set a very, very high bar and you lived up to it very well. I respect each of you and I feel very blessed to call you guys my friends now. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, I'll just say thank you to all three of you, actually. And I'm gonna reiterate what Ms. Peck said about long conversations on the phone. You're absolutely right. When you get on the phone with Justin, it might be 2 hours later. But thank you guys for being who you are, and I'm sure I'll see more of you as the time progresses here. But thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Ms. Taker.
Like everyone else, I wanna say thank you to the three of you. The three of you showed us what real leadership is. With compassion, not about egos, and truly caring about the city and the people in it. I have learned so much from you guys, and our city has benefited so much from the care that you have shown it. I know you guys will still continue to do amazing things in this city, just by volunteering, simple things, giving guidance, however it may come across. We will still be blessed with your presence in this city, and for that I thank God.
Mr. Moore.
Yeah, I'll just say thank you to the three of you. It was almost a year to the day that you guys put me on the Charter Review Commission, if you think about it, which is kind of funny. And then giving me some lofty ideas and meeting Bebe at his house and him just saying, when are you running for council? It's like, never, and here we are. That was in June, I think. So, thank you for, showing me that it can happen, it's possible, and being supportive the entire time that I ran my crazy campaign and getting put on to council. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Stoller.
So I'm just gonna say, it's easy, when you're sitting on that side, it's easy to not understand all the effort that goes into being on this side of that little fence there. And so I appreciate the time you guys put in, cause you don't have to go the extra mile, and all three of you have, right? And so I think, I'm new here, but I appreciate the example that you set as I sat over there on that side for a year, watching you act, right? Like that set sort of an example and sort of set the expectations for the rest of us. So I appreciate all three of you for your effort and your dedication to the city. Thank you.
Lori.
Quit crying.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to approach this from a whole different way. When I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, because all my cameras were going off to find Justin and his wife shoveling out my driveway, Taylor and I on top of the dam, taking selfies on top of the dam when we did the tour. And Bebe, the text messages, guess who lost his password again? And then I could make up the silliest ones to give back to him. It's been a pleasure and an honor, but it's even a bigger honor to call you guys my friends. And it doesn't end tonight. So I love all three of you with all my heart. You are the best boss I've ever had.
Thank you. And you guys are permitted to leave if you want to. You have enough
Stick
of this.
around. Come on,
Thank you,
come
Mr.
back
President.
on that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, citizens address. You want me to call them up or you?
I'll just say that.
Okay, because we have two.
You have two, okay. Okay, we have citizens addressing council.
No, I've got them. Thanks, Brad. Okay, our first speaker tonight is Tiffany Mead.
Now, all speakers have 5 minutes to speak.
Tiffany Mead, 307 6th Street Northwest. I just wanted to come and say that I thank the administration for closing Lawrence Avenue down to have the community Easter egg hunt. I appreciate that support for all these children. The superintendent and the PTOs I have been meeting with and speaking to, and somehow we fell into a very great day and time slot where every other community is doing theirs at the same time. Copley, Norton, Kenmore, Barberton were all the same day at the same time, so it's really going to be hopefully like a true community event. But I wanted to thank the administration for getting that done.
Thank you, Tiffany.
And the second one is Glenda Keys Stevens.
Thank you, Glenda. I remind you, you have 5 minutes.
Hello, my name is Glenda Keys Stevens, and this here is my son, Jeffrey Allen Keys. He was murdered here in Barberton, over on Lucas Street here, on May the 11th, 2025. If you remember, that's Mother's Day. He was murdered, and I got some questions because nobody notified me that my son was murdered. Every police in Barberton know where the Keys family lives. My mother's deceased, but our property still there, and that's where my son was residing from back when this incident happened. But however, I'm not feeling like I'm getting any justice. Because they arrested this one young man, there's others involved, and I just want for somebody to hear me. I need somebody to help me to make sure that this investigation stays open. I need for them to investigate this thoroughly. There's a murder weapon. They allowed these men to stay in this apartment overnight. They were able to get rid of evidence and different things. I need for somebody to stand up to the police and make them, detectives, do their job. Me and my daughter came up here a couple of months back, and I asked for the detective on the case. 2 gentlemen came out, nobody that I saw like last Friday. Detective Sowell, he was pretty understanding, and he was trying to reassure me that he was by no means about to allow this case to go closed. But on the other hand, they're not trying to perceive that those other people's blood that's on my son, that's on this autopsy. So much to say in this little time. I want to say it was pertinent. As I stated, they allowed them to stay in this house overnight and instead of arresting those guys that night. So they were able to get rid of evidence. There's witnesses to the fact that Doug Sprite stuck the knife down, or the work tool down in the ground behind the home over on Lucas Street. They claim that they searched over there, but I asked them specifically, did you use a shovel to dig, or how did you go over there to apprehend this weapon? They said they used a drone, they used some type of laser on the top of the ground. I asked them specifically, did you all use a shovel? Did y'all move the earth? He assured me that they did. But I went by there, and it doesn't look like anything like that being dug up or anything over there. I see that brush you're talking about where they moved it back from the fence and that tire and that rubbish and stuff. I do see that. But as far as them digging for a weapon, that young lady said, I saw it in my vision when she said it, and if you go around that curve and you look to your left, you see just what she's talking about. That linked fist and a wooden fist together, and he stuck it down in the ground between that with this and that leaked this. So ain't nobody done over there. So I just want what's right. I don't want vengeance. I want justice for my son. My son did not deserve to die in that manner. My son was no vicious person. He wasn't no person that didn't have understanding that you couldn't talk to. You knew my son. My son did not deserve to die in that alley like that. Barberton paramedics picked my son up and took my son to Barberton Hospital. Why? When you know they don't accept that level trauma. Why would you stop there and go there? And then it's a minute's lapse as far as this report though. There's some unaccounted time. I don't know where they were. Nobody called me to this day to tell me my son was murdered. Nobody went to tell anybody. I mean, and then they, 5 and 19 News, they went on news and told the news people that my son's death was the result of a woman. Really? How did you come to that? So it's several things just don't sit well with me. And I need this investigation to go on. I need
You got about 5 seconds, Glenda.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate you hearing me.
You're welcome. We're going to go into our committee reports now. Mrs. Hager.
Street, sidewalk, and lighting has nothing to report, and with that, I pass.
Thank you, Mrs. Hager. Mrs. Beck.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Planning.
Planning, annexation, and codes has nothing to report at this time. With that, I pass.
Thank you. Mr. Stoll, utilities.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. The City Utilities Committee met on February 23rd at 7:27 p.m. We discussed a piece of legislation, wastewater treatment plant project, WPCLF loan, a resolution of the Council of the City of Barberton authorizing the mayor to apply for, accept, and enter into a water pollution control loan fund agreement, WPCLF, on behalf of the City of Barberton for design, bidding, construction administration, and construction of wastewater facilities, and designating a dedicated repayment source for the loan and declaring an emergency. We also met on March 2nd, tonight at 6:07 p.m. and we discussed legislation, a letter from Todd Shreve, Service Director, requesting legislation to allow the City of Barberton to proceed with the process of becoming a member community of the Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, NOPEC, adopting their electric plan of operation and entering into an agreement with them as our electric aggregator. With that, I pass.
Thank you, Mr. Stoll. Monty Harris, safety.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public Welfare, Safety, and Public Relations met on February 23rd. We had one request for legislation. There's a letter from Jamie Eisman, Human Resource Director, requesting legislation to update Chapter 674. Emergency wording was requested. And Chapter 674 is our criminal activity nuisance ordinance. And we had nothing further, and with that, I pass.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Ms. Gerhardt, Rules, Marketing, and Development, and Technology.
Thank you, President Griffin. Rules, Marketing, Development, and Information Technologies met this evening. We called for the censuring of Councilman Brian Corman, and with that, I pass.
Thank you, Ms. Gerhardt. Julie Miller, City Properties, Parks, Environmental Health and Social Services.
Environmental Health and Social Services met tonight, March 2nd at 6 p.m. The committee has nothing to report, and with that, I pass.
Thank you, Julie. Mr. Moore, City Properties, Parks, and Recreation.
Thank you, Mr. President. The City Properties, Parks, and Recreation met on February 23rd. We have two resolutions I'd like to present. The first is a letter from Dallas Moore, Councilman Ward 3, requesting legislation to express that Barberton City Council no longer has confidence in the Parks Commission. And the second is a letter from Dallas Moore, Councilman Ward 3, requesting legislation stating Barberton City Council does not support the mayor's decision regarding the chair of the Parks Commission, and asked for 3 readings on this request. And with that, I pass.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Mr. Foreman, Finance and Personnel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Finance and Personnel met today at 6:28. We had one request for legislation, a letter from William Judge requesting legislation allowing up to 10% of the business incentive fund. That motion was withdrawn. We adjourned at 6:32. At this point, I guess we will bring up budget.
Yes, well, yes. Mm-hmm.
So does anyone?
Well, the mayor, I'll say, the mayor is not here tonight to do his report. So we're gonna start off with finance. Mr. Polachek.
For the budget.
For the budget.
Fire department budget, page 178, page 66 and 178.
Chief, did you say
66 of
Yes.
Page 66 and 178, section, under section 4, I believe.
Yes.
Bear with me, it's my first time doing it. Everybody there? First page, basically, that's your wages and stuff, which are contractual, agreed upon. And that's all the numbers you figure them in, and Jeremy gives it back to you, and that's where you end up. So we flip to the next page, which is page 67, which pretty much gets into all the other good stuff. Right off the bat, the increase in training and travel. We're supposed to have 45 firefighters, we have 44. I'm losing 2 to retirement this year. One is a fire inspector, focusing on AMHA, plans review, fire investigation, workers' comp go-to person, a SWAT medic, and he's also our emergency vehicle operations instructor. So he fills 5 positions, that one guy. So replacing, I have to have 5 people step up. It's one of those things. So there's a lot of training coming up. As I was politely reminded by a few people, I've got a lot of young firefighters there. 25 firefighters have less than 5 years. Once we get through this hire, and I'll have 27 with less than 8 years experience. And that's by the time I get through these 2 retirements. So out of 45, that's half the department. That's quite a bit. And as the old school way was, I don't want to tell you what I know because you might know what I know, and then I'm useless, and I don't want you to know what I don't know. Well, guess what? It's different now. We need everybody to pitch in, be part of the team, help out. And I've built Succession, and I've built the teams with various years of experience, everywhere from 20 to 10 to 7 to 2. So that way, when somebody rolls off of a team, the next person can just jump right in, and we don't lose any type of loss of motion or energy. When Lieutenant Calmore retires, he's the only one that does plans review right now. I'm in the process of trying to get somebody trained up for that. And again, it takes a lot of training and increases like that. Training today is not like it was when I experienced, or Councilman Harry could tell you when he got hired on. We track a lot of data. Data is driven how we get our grants, how we get our funding outside of agencies as well. We basically run everything off of what we call an ISO rating, which is an insurance service office. The fire department's ISO rating is determined by the insurance service office by how well your department is able to serve the community. You're assigned a score between a 1 and 10, with lower numbers indicating a better score. High ISO ratings can increase home insurance rates in the community. And there are 3 factors that figure in: the water supply, the emergency communications, and the fire department. Water supply is all hinged on the water supply in the water department. There are certain requirements they must be at 33% of the grade. 33% of the grade is the Swisscom in our dispatching center, which they are at the utmost, they're almost at the max they can be. And finally, the fire department. A big portion of that, what we discovered, and you get rated every 5 to 10 years, is the number of trainings needed to be increased. Driver's training, officer development, hands-on live fire, as well as fire inspections, a ladder truck, which ours is needing replaced, fire engines and equipment. As well as if you do fire inspections, if you do public fire safety education, fire prevention, you follow the codes, a whole host of things. To meet those requirements, you got to have the trainings. So that's kind of why that went up. Professional services went up. What happens is when we bill for our EMS calls, a billing company takes care of the billing, then they collect and then they send us a bill for their cut. It doesn't come out of what they receive. So it comes out of my budget what I have to pay, even though I don't get to come back and go to the general fund. So I had to raise that up. Laundry was omitted in last year's budget, not new to me, and added in this year's budget that was discovered in May. Radios are seeing an increase. I need to replace radios and also update their programmings. We're looking at encryption, which is between $100 and $200 a radio to get that going. There's been a lot of issues with once information goes out over the waves, all kinds of people show up, and all of a sudden you're on social media at your worst day, and that's always not a good thing. So by encrypting radios and, you know, for the safety of the people involved and the safety of the first responders, that's one of the reasons they do the encryption. So we're looking at that. Memberships, as we get more people trained, professional memberships and organizations come about, and with the certifications, they want you to be members of the professional organizations. Plus, as you're attending trainings, you get, you know, anybody can just say I was trained, but if you have a certificate that is from a recognized organization, that actually helps you with your accreditation and with your data control. Increased our turnout gear. It's not one size fits all. Firefighter turnout gear is custom made to each firefighter. We have roughly 10 years per set of gear, and we have budgeted in every year for 10 sets of gear. However, with 2 new firefighters coming on, that would be an additional 4 sets because you get 2 per person, so that's 14 sets of gear. And of course, you know, gear goes up. The cost of turnout gear now is roughly, I think it's $4,800 a set, and I remember when it broke $2,000 a set, so it's quite expensive. Repair and maintenance, that went up as well. Our current tower right now is $35,000 in repair, and it needs more than that right now. It's going in the shop here the second week of March, and it's going to get $25,000 worth of work done to it. It's averaged about $25,000 a year for the last 3 years to maintain that one. It's 25 years old at this point, and that's the backup one which we're using as the frontline one because our 1995 is out of service and we can't do it. The tools and equipment again, as we're getting our new ambulance that we ordered, we had our automatic cots looked at, and our technician said, hey, you're going to have to get a new one for the new ambulance. A cot in its system, loading system, is $75,000 just for one set. Now, our sets are about 10 to 12 years old. You don't want to pull an old set out and put it in a new ambulance, so we'll be slowly replacing that kind of stuff. Safety equipment, increased that quite a bit, adding a member to the SWAT team. Lieutenant Calmore is getting off the SWAT team. There's a cost associated with that. The police pay part of it, we pay part of it. And also Summit County Dive Team, we have 1 member going on to that team to be part of that, and soon to be 2. Capital outlay, we did receive the diesel exhaust grant, but we get more information about that coming up as well. And we'll have to pay a portion of that, but we do have money in the budget from Jeremy to take care of that. It's the other things that come after the diesel exhaust gets put in. We're able to clean the station and paint the station, which has not been painted or cleaned, and I've been there 29.9 years. It was painted 5 years prior to me getting hired, so 35 years ago was the last time the interior department was stained or painted. And you don't want to paint it over the diesel exhaust because you want to make sure it's clean. Other than that, pretty much standard, you know, with your utilities going up, we've got to increase our budgets, items like that. Improvements, I would like to get in, I just found out today, we talked to the mayor about putting a new officer in charge vehicle. Ours is currently 5 years old, and I'd like to get another one towards the end of the year, depending on how the budget works. Our backup vehicle, we had at the shop today, and when they put it up on the rack, my lieutenant pulled me aside, he goes, hey, yeah, we're towards the end of the lifetime on this. It's 17 years old, and it's getting to that point, Ohio winter's take its toll, so it's time to slowly replace that one as well. Capital lease payments, that's our debt service, that's for the Station 2, which is almost done, getting paid for, as well as the purple engine that was recently purchased. And that's pretty much it. You have any questions? I know when I took over this position from Chief Iono, the first thing I did was get the budget and try to go through it, try to figure out, because I inherited the budget that he made, and we didn't have a lot of time to talk about it. And then as you're going through, you know, you're jotting down, hey, we need to do this, we need to adjust this, that, and the other. Talking with my team and coming up with what we need to do and how we need to continue to go on. Unfortunately, everything is expensive. Ladder trucks now are not nearly what they were. In 1995 was $500,000 when we bought it, roughly, and now they're over $2 million. So it's and the delivery time is another thing. So we try to be as financially responsible, try to get grant money and donations and stuff like that as well, which our community always steps up. We just got a door prop grant from the VFW. They paid for it. It was a little over $8,000. And I found out, I believe this week, the Port Cities Compact program is going to be using that in part of their training. It's a portable thing, so again, we're able to take it and train future firefighters as well as current firefighters. So that's one of the things. I found out another one. My fire marshal told me yesterday he's 99% sure we can get a fire extinguisher training prop, which is about $16,000, completely donated. And it'll be used in conjunction with the City of Norton Fire Department and New Franklin Fire Department and Country Fire Department. So we can use that to help train business people and school people and all that. It's an excellent tool. We currently borrow one from the City of Waterford and use theirs. And another one, we take turns with that. So have one in the area would be nice, and with very little expense. And that also goes towards our public education, which is part of our ISO review. So all these wonderful things help hopefully save people. Any questions? And I still want to invite you guys couldn't make it to the meeting or to the fire department that day because you guys were running late. So the invitation is open. I'd love to host you down there. Come down for some coffee or tea, something, and we can show you what we do and how we do it, you know, for a few minutes. And we'd love to schedule that with you if possible. We do have an entrance exam that we're putting on right now, which the 6th will be this weekend will be the ladder climb. Hopefully get some good candidates to replace the 2, and I'm also 1 short to start, so it's 3 right off the bat. But trying to get qualified candidates is getting tougher and tougher every year. And trying to maintain our guys that we have, our firefighters that we have, is also, we've got an excellent team. I just was notified as we were sitting in the meeting that one of our squads was recognized with what we call the STEMI team of the month, which means from the time somebody has a heart attack and calls 911 to the time they get to the hospital and get treated and get that clot unplugged was 48 minutes from the time EMS got there until they got the clog unplugged, which is amazing. Well, they also did that in December. So 2 out of the last 3 months, and then I found out in January, we had a stroke patient that we got there, the person was paralyzed on one side of their body, got with the stroke team up there, and within 42 minutes, they had the clot pulled out. The person was released to home 2 days later with just an assistant to help them for about 2 days, and they were completely back to normal. We didn't get recognized for that because another department beat us by 2 minutes. But they have that kind of teamwork and they have that kind of technology, and be in this area with that kind of stuff is just it was just amazing. So I'm very proud of our team. They worked very, very hard. And, you know, in fact, I'm gonna go, there's something going on in a neighboring community that I have to go assist with. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You did a great job for your first time.
Yes.
Mr. Sharif?
Alright. I'm gonna just cover general fund stuff tonight. I don't know exactly what mayor had put on everybody's schedule. I'll start with page 53, it's the service director budget. With that budget, not a whole lot changes from year to year. A lot of it's carbon copy of the year before. Wages, as you can see, we budgeted, so part of the wage out of this, we were paying our city engineer also out of the service director wages. So you'll see that the actual was actually down a little bit last year. And our engineer had left mid-year. The rest of that though, like I said, pretty much carbon copy straight over for professional services at the top, or personal services, operations and maintenance, not a whole lot's changed there. Training and travel, this Thursday I'm actually going to Columbus. It's a One Water workshop. This will be the 5th year I went. They cover a lot of new regulatory stuff from the EPA for our water plant. They talk about different grant opportunities, that kind of thing. It's a one-day workshop down in Columbus. It also helps me with continuing education units for my license that I hold. The professional services, so that we use for siren testing. So our tornado sirens, that comes out of that professional service. We use it for some of the building security, comes out of my fund for professional services, those kinds of things. The burials, so that is one that that is for the indigent burials. That fluctuates too, as you can kind of see year to year. That's one that we do occasionally have to appropriate more money depending on how many people apply. So it's a reimbursement, so they have to apply for funds. We send it to finance sends them a check, but it's indigenous burial funds. Memberships, OWEA, WWA, I belong to the Service Director Association, Northeast Ohio. CUE membership comes out of that. And then, office supplies. And that is about it for that budget. Are there any questions for the Service Director budget? Yes, Dallas.
Does Nixle come out of professional services for you, or you know?
I believe that Nixle actually comes out of IT, so information services. Yeah, so we'll get to that one. I think I'm going to do that one today too. I think that's one of my marks here. So we go to the next one that I have marked, which is page 59, which is Information Systems Department. So with that, the salary and wages, so that we have one employee, Keith Whitten, so a portion of his salary is paid out of this budget, along with the roll-up costs there for his medical and health insurance. Training and travel, that is also for, training opportunities for our IT services to go. It sounds like we may be doing some training in AV equipment, to try to make sure that the sound and the video stuff, is working up here for you guys. Swisscom IT services, so that's the money that we use to pay a portion of the Southwest, the Swisscom or the COG costs for using the outside IT services through them. Repair and maintenance, so that is on, computer, printers, server. So we have servers in the YGAM building that they occasionally, switches go bad, servers go bad. I know last year between the repair and maintenance, and then our equipment and furnishings. We bought a lot of new equipment last year. So, kind of skipping ahead, so if you look at the capital outlay at the bottom, we went from last year, we budgeted $60,000, this year we only put $5,000 in there, and a lot of that is due to a lot of the equipment we replaced last year. So we're assuming that we're not gonna need a whole lot of equipment, but we upped the repair and maintenance a little bit just to make sure that the equipment we do have is going to continue running the way that we want it to. Software renewals, so those are, our G3 license, so I'm going to talk high level. G3 license, which is a Microsoft 360 license that we've started using. That includes some of the Nixle and the software renewal there. That also is like our IT ticketing, or our ticketing system that we use. That is included in that. The $8,000 in the telephone is standard telephone repair. We do occasionally have to call somebody in to, look at our desk phone systems. You'll see there's a telephone line item in a lot of the budgets because we split that across the different departments too. Roadrunner service is our internet service. I don't think it's been called Roadrunner for a long time, but it's still in our budget as Roadrunner services. Are there any questions in the IT budget? Okay, if we flip one page,
Sorry.
yes, Mr. Moore.
Can the difference between minor equipment replacement and repair and maintenance, why those are two different lines?
So that would probably be more of a question for Jeremy, why it got kind of labeled differently.
Okay.
The way that I look at it is the minor equipment are monitors, mouses, things that aren't an actual PC. And then equipment falls under, or PCs like fall underneath equipment. So like if Vanessa needed a new computer, I would purchase that out of equipment. But if she needs a monitor, so I don't know. If, like I said, that's how I associate it in my brain.
Okay.
I'm not sure that Jeremy feels the same way, but.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, then the next page is building maintenance. So this building maintenance is for this building. This building maintenance fund, it will also eventually be for 480. So I mean, when we have two buildings, our building maintenance fund is going to have to grow. I mean, we are modernizing both buildings, so there will be a lot of things that are going to cost less. Because I mean, you build a new building, you don't have to repair things right away, but light bulbs are going to burn out. Toilet flush valves are going to fail. There's going to be things as we move forward with the new buildings. But that's what these funds are. So Lee Wyatt, a portion of his wages are paid out of the building maintenance fund here, so that's why it's only $8,500. Obviously, Lee makes more than $8,500, so that's just a percentage of his wage. Same with the roll-up, so the roll-up is the same percentage as his wage. Professional services, so those are like window cleanings, that kind of thing. I don't believe, we have window cleanings, let me think, professional services. And that's probably more along the lines of rugs and that kind of thing. And then building security, there's a portion out here. We split a lot of that cost with Bob, of course, so there'll be a line item in his budget for that. Janitorial, window cleaning, those are all standard. Dumpster pickup is through Kimball. Copy machine lease and maintenance, you'll see that in several budgets because we have 13 machines that we lease throughout the different departments in the city. The office space lease, that is a portion of finance being in the second building. Telephone, stationary, operating supplies, repair and maintenance supplies. So that, we actually budgeted 80 last year. We only spent 35, so we lowered that budget this year. Again, maintaining an old building is not always cheap, but we feel like we're in a pretty good place, having recently replaced the HVAC, the new boilers, the new roof, that kind of thing with this building. We feel like we're in a pretty good place as far as repair and maintenance goes. And then the standard gas, electric, gasoline and oil. There is a little bit, there was an increase last year, and we did add a vehicle for this department. Lee's got a truck. I'm not real sure how it went from $200-300 to $3,100. That's something that I would have to ask Jeremy how that rolled up that high. I don't know if that was just a wrong button push or an extra number from last year's actuals. And then we don't have any capital expenditures. Yes, Mr. Stoll.
Do you expect the electricity to go down?
So with that, I don't. But that's another question I would have to ask Jeremy. So with the electric, so that is a direct pay. So we set up funds, that is directly paid from finance. So those numbers, those actuals are from him. So I would have to double check and make sure that that is a correct number. Because also going from OpenGov last year back to a spreadsheet this year, some of those numbers change because of the account read number. So that would be one that I would definitely have to check with him. Yes, Alex.
Is that one shared with the board or anything? Like they paid for part of that?
I don't believe
No?
so.
Okay.
That electric bill is solely handled through general fund.
Got it.
And we did, about mid-year last year, I believe it was, we went out to bid for our large electric account. I believe City Hall was included in that. So it included street lighting, City Hall, and our treatment plants, because those are our large accounts. So that, we may have actually mid-year got a better price too, so that could justify the lower projected budget. Any other questions? All right, moving on. We're going to flip a few pages to page 70. So page 70 is it says building commissioner, this is our building department funds. So under the first line, building commissioner, that is the wage line. So that includes, so if you look at all of the different employees, you know, secretary, building inspector, we don't have an electrical inspector, property maintenance, zoning, those are all included in that top wage line. That was something that was changed last year with Jeremy and the account numbering. Instead of breaking them out all into individual departmental positions, it's just one wage line. And then the roll-up for medical, retirement, workers' comp, and then clothing allowances is all there. Any questions on that page? Yes.
Was your actual, thank you, was your actual lower because we didn't have a building commissioner for part of the year?
That, and I believe, so out of this, you'll see the 7th or 8th line down there, engineer. So some of those funds were Mr. Kiedecki and the building commissioner. So yes, that's why the actuals were a lot lower.
And then when we adjust, you didn't increase it as much as it would have been budgeted last year. Are you not anticipating getting a building commissioner?
So that, I mean, we've been looking for a while. I mean, I would still like to say yes, we would. But I mean, as you can see, I mean, it's still a little higher than what last year's actual was. So I mean, that's something that we would potentially have to go back and appropriate if we did have an applicant that was successful and complete.
Yeah.
Any other questions on that page? The next page is a continuation of the building department funds, training and travel, like all the other budgets. I just had 2 property maintenance inspectors went to Columbus for a day last week to get some IACC training, International Code Council. So I mean, we're always trying to keep them up to date and, you know, with the most knowledge on how to do their jobs. Professional services. So that's a line item that, as you can see in the past years, has always fluctuated. And it fluctuates quite a bit depending on the building in the community, so whether or not there's a lot of housing going on, whether there's commercial structures, because we have plans examiners, we have now not having a building commissioner, we have to send stuff to the county, we have electrical inspections, plumbing inspections, those types of things we use outside contractors for, so that all comes out of the professional services. That allows us to utilize independent contractors to kind of keep up with building standards without having to have an electrical inspector in-house and pay them a daily wage. When the building boom slows down in the winter and we don't need an electrical inspector all the time, we're not paying somebody to sit in an office and have that title. So it allows a little bit of freedom in that department. Repair and maintenance, that can be used for things in the office. It also is used for vehicles. If need be, there is also an auto maintenance expense line that's down there that we used almost all of last year. Budgeted 2,000, used 1,500. Copier lease, like I said earlier, that's in several budgets. Building demolitions, so we kept that at 20. We're hoping to, keep cleaning up neighborhoods and raising buildings. Like I said, telephones there. Advertising, so the advertising line item is for like BZA. We have to put advertisement in the paper when somebody applies for a variance. So we have to send letters to the adjoining properties. We have to advertise in the paper. There's certain things the charter sets out that we have to accomplish. Office supplies, that's a lot of envelopes, paper, stamps, that kind of stuff for our mailing, our registration mailing, general mailing, pens, pencils, that kind of thing. Materials are also a line item that we can use for that type of stuff. Said auto maintenance expenses, gasoline and oil for our vehicles. Radio maintenance, Chief Halachek kind of touched on. We do still use some handheld radios, even in the building department. Not nearly as much as we used to, but there is still some maintenance that's required with that. And then postage machines down in finance, so that's just a portion of helping all there. Just anything that we separate. Yes, Ms. Gerhardt?
Sorry, I was up early. Postage last year tripled the budget.
Yes, it did.
And it went over the previous year.
That is a good catch.
If you want to check on that, maybe it's just not the right number, or?
Yeah, no, that's.
You have a pen, Jen?
You have a big pen here.
My other, question or observation, so last year losing our building commissioner, we then have been using Summit County's building commissioner. I'm surprised professionals that much under budget, given that we used the county way more last year.
We did, but so my guess with that, again, without looking, digging down into the numbers, is just the building. There wasn't a ton of new construction throughout the year last year, because honestly, I feel like utilizing one of the changes we made was adding Angela Angela is now our part-time plans examiner, who is a city employee. So that was a professional service cost prior to that, and then Charles Corcoran, we were using him in the meantime while we were trying to hire Angela, and that was an increased cost because of the resubmittals. So we had a lot of there's a term for them. It's a change order, but that's not what they use in the building trades. I can't think of the term off the top of my head. But there was a lot of change orders, so they would submit plans. Charles would have a lot of things they needed to fix and change, and then we would have to submit them again to every time you submit those, there's a cost to that. And I feel like with Angela is a lot of all-encompassing, so we get a lot more value there. So I think that some of the changes we've made, even though we had to go through the county, one, I think it was a reduced building, and then two, we just made a lot of cost-effective changes.
Do you remember when we got Angela?
Do you know how many dates are rolling around in my head right now? No, I don't. I could definitely.
Number of days.
No, I don't know the exact time.
I was thinking end of 24, I just didn't.
I mean, that sounds really close to me. Like, I feel like it was in the fall, October, November, it would have probably been 24.
You're like, the Buckeyes were on, and Ignite had their fall. Okay, that's all.
Okay. I know that the Masonic Temple, I believe, is still there. Because I remember meeting her in Jamie's office when we gave her job offer letter. And I know it wasn't rattling the wall yet, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a good way to remember it.
Are there any other questions on that?
I guess based on that assessment, do you think, not saying like it needs to be lowered, but do you think that could still be an overestimation than the 95? Or still just gonna vary until we have new
So, I mean,
construction?
we have Truson Farms, you know, the model home out of Truson Farms will be done soon. When those homes start, there will be a lot of plumbing and electrical inspections, you know, that we have to call for out there.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's one of those numbers where I'd rather shoot for the moon, you know,
Sure.
and land lower, so.
So like based on like next year's, we could, if we.
For sure,
see what-
if we get a consistent, you know, construction out there, we would have a really solid number, I
Okay.
think at that point.
Cool.
Yeah. Anything else on that page? All right, if we flip one more page, I was saying if you guys are ready to stop, let me know. If you want to keep going, I think I only have a couple more pages.
I'm ready to stop, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Okay.
Tonight. I
All right.
think they agree.
Yeah.
To stop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It's time.
We can pick up.
Yeah, I'm ready to 72.
I think I had signal and then parks maintenance. Parks maintenance would probably be a good one to put with parks and Ag. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shreve. Does anybody have anything to do to the body? I just like to say, I thank everybody for Saturday. Saturday turned out to be pretty good. We got a lot done, and Lori says we don't have that much more to do.
I've got what's down in the safe, and I wanna look through a couple things up here, but I took the newer stuff that had not even been looked through one time, more newer, and then I've got the forms to fill out, so we're getting there.
Yeah.
Then what'll happen next is we put it in the shred bins, and then we'll figure out how much is ours and how much belongs to the courts, and then I'll do a PO for the cost to dispose of ours.
Okay, without any further discussion, we are adjourned at 8:02.